I was originally offered a cochlear implant some 7 years ago, but and here I think the internet is a dangerous place sometimes, because I looked up information about cochlear implants and it frightened me sick as to what I found out, or what I thought I was finding out. Things like, it looked like the operation was a real major one that lasted 5 hours, and you would end up with a great big scar right round your head, so to speak, and they'd be drilling bits out here, there and everywhere. But in reality, I mean, this is why I didn't do it so long ago, but in talking to Mr. Mitchell, the surgeon, recently, and asking, well, how long's the operation? What does it entail? I was so surprised to find that the operation was only about 2 hours, and the scar was only about that long and was right behind your ear. So if you're thinking of looking on the internet, the advice is don't. If there's anybody that's thinking of going for a cochlear implant, my advice would be go and do it. Don't delay. There's nothing to worry about, and you would be amazed how the quality of your life will change.
I would advise people who'd like to go for a cochlear implant to be optimistic and patient. It's not an easy journey. You have to be very patient at the beginning, especially when you have your switch on. It's the journey, it's the process, and it takes, sometimes it's different from one person to another, but it takes sometimes for your brain to get adapted to the new sounds, but eventually you'll enjoy it and you'll get the maximum benefit out of it.
I know several people who I believe would greatly benefit from a cochlear implant, as I have done, and I would say to them, go for it. Don't be afraid of the operation. It's easy to recover from. It's not a big deal. And the pleasure of being able to hear again in a more normal way is just immeasurable. It will change your life.
I would love to have had this cochlear implant 10 years ago. I know they say it's never too late, but I would have liked it earlier, but maybe it wasn't to be. I was having other things going on at that time, and maybe my hearing wasn't... I think the hearing has to be a certain low level to have this implant. Anybody contemplating a cochlear implant must be aware that it is a great commitment. But if you've got good help with you, not a problem, but you must be prepared to commit yourself to this and come back for several appointments. But otherwise, fantastic.
If you're unsure, talk to somebody. There's loads of online communities. The expert here at the centre are brilliant to talk to, but do talk. If you're not ready, then pause, reflect, take 5, whatever you need, because the expert wouldn't put you on that journey unless they thought you're right and you could do it.
My situation was perhaps not the run-of-the-mill here at the AIS. I didn't meet the NICE guidelines to have an implant under the National Health Service. So to follow the self-funded pathway and pay potentially $35,000 for the whole process, covering all the costs up to the first year, was quite a decision. And it was a family decision. And in the end, yes, we went ahead and I benefited greatly.
Now that I've been able to hear again, I've been able to join in with all sorts of previously inaccessible activities. And those activities include joining a book club, which is a great pleasure. I'm able to be fully involved at work again in a way that I was unable to do when I'd completely lost all hearing. I undertake some voluntary work now, which is great fun. And I think the biggest pleasure of all is just being able to join in the fun and laughter and conversations with family and friends around the dinner table.
marvelous as it is, I can't say that it is, I'm suddenly a hearing person. I did ask somebody in the implant center, what do I call myself, hearing or deaf? And she's very sweetly said, I'm afraid you will always be deaf, but you will hear that much more than you used to. I find being in a crowd very, very difficult. Any background noise, like background music, makes it almost impossible to hear. But to talk to a person face to face in a relatively quiet surrounding, it is absolutely brilliant.
I think the only real difficulty I still have with my hearing is when I'm in a big group of people and lots of people are talking all at once. It's very difficult to focus on a single voice, and that's just something that is a drawback of using either hearing aids or a cochlear implant, I think.
I find it difficult to hear in a crowded room. The background noise takes over the sound and I don't manage well, so I tend to avoid crowded places. Other than that, I think I manage very well. If someone asked me whether or not to go ahead, I would say it's a commitment, and if you're prepared to do it, I wouldn't hesitate to have it done.
I would recommend a cochlear implant to anybody that was finding conversation, speech, any sort of hearing, if they had problems with that. I was a complete coward when I was first offered implant referral, and I left it for about 10 years, but I honestly wish I had known a bit more about it and gone for it a bit earlier. But having said that, I'm really chuffed with it and I would recommend it.
I would definitely recommend a cochlear implant for other people. Just go for it. It's truly life-changing. And if I had the opportunity to do another implant, I would definitely do it.
If I was fortunate enough to be offered a second implant, I would be grabbing it with both hands. I'd be over the moon. Yes, please.
But it's just been like a miracle for me. And I, once again, as I said earlier, I would recommend anyone contemplating having an implant to go for it, because it's been the best thing I've ever done and I don't regret it for 1 minute. It's been like a miracle.